What's good, y'all? It's your boy J Suave. I'm the host of J Suave TV. Hey, I already see the backdrop. We back to talk about that new Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. Not gonna lie, we got a lot in this episode, y'all. We got the return, the official return of Unique himself. Much of the surprise of Raq and the entire Thomas family. In this episode, we see a lot of them deal with his return, specifically Raq, trying to set up new plays to recover quicker so that they can get back at him as soon as possible, because he's a big threat right now. We got Kanan, who in this episode got robbed, and it's potentially putting the pieces together on who exactly took out Fame. Duke done caught one too many bodies, because now all of a sudden she out here crashing out a whole new person. Marvin and Stefano have a very interesting conversation. Nique and Pernessa are reunited, and some way, somehow, Be-Rilla manages to pull off a top 5 worst hits in all Power history. We gonna talk about all this and then some. If I miss anything throughout this review, y'all just comment it. Y'all already know we gonna get to it in the comments. But first, before you do that, y'all already know what y'all gotta do. It's the disclaimer at this point. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those things. And let's just get right into this episode. So we start off the episode where we left off in the last one. Raq done found a ghost in her crib eating butter pecan ice cream. Some way, somehow, Unique done returned from the dead and is in her crib staring her down. Obviously, we know how it happened, the lead up to this moment. But to Raq, she is honestly shocked. And because Unique is so messed up in the head, I don't think he's really processing just how shocked she actually is. I will say, to his credit though, he does have a lot of good evidence to believe that Raq will be lying to him in this situation, considering how DEFCON, High Post, and Howard done turned out in the past. Really, any man that we know Raq is affiliated with whose name is not Symphony cannot speak on account of their relationship. But really, he has all reason to feel this way. He basically tells her that he's gonna kill her down the line because he really has her dead to rights in her own crib. He could pull the trigger at any moment. There's literally no help coming for Raq in this scene. The only reason he didn't pull the trigger is because he's talking about something. He's gonna kill her on the blocks first. So it's good to see this interaction, because there's not too many dudes that could tell this to Raq that would have me actually believe in the shit that they saying. But with all the moves that we've seen Unique make this season, we already know he's not bluffing. While he's in the crib pressing Raq, he simultaneously has the manpower that he obtained in the last episode taking over her block. This man is legit working overtime. He's not playing. He also catches her up a bit on the past, telling her that he done killed her lawyer and that he was there when Ronnie and Howard got taken out by Kanan and Raq. He actually seen them leaving, which all comes as a shock to Raq, obviously, but she can't sit in the moment for too long. He gathers the family together not too long after this to let them know exactly what's happening. And we get some bits of this conversation that to me came off as real suspicious. Like when Kanan asked Raq why Unique didn't kill her when he had her dead to rights. Now, obviously, Unique told Raq what he said in this episode on why he didn't kill her in this moment. But for Kanan, who was not there, who has all this distrust in his mother, he's obviously going to think of the worst possible outcome. And I think that directly comes back later on in the episode, and we're going to talk about that. But then Jukebox also asked Raq if she thinks that he had anything to do with what happened to Famous. He tells Juke, in our quote, because I just rewatched the scene, the way Famous got knocked up and dumped up in the Bronx like that, it don't come off like something Unique would do. All right, I paraphrased the last part, but you get what I'm trying to say. Knocked up just seemed real descriptive in my opinion. You could have said any other words, but knocked up, it just, I don't know, it just sounds like somebody who was there in the vicinity of what was happening. It's just my opinion. I know I'm still big team Raq and Marvin took out Fame. I'm standing on that. Raq's telling all of them that they need to lay low for the woman, but Kanan is not trying to go for that. He's telling her that she's the one that's supposed to be looking out for them, but she got them out here looking scared. Rather than laying low, they need to be out there going after Unique. Raq argues that every time Kanan done messed something up, she was always there to save him, like she's not his mom. Hell argument, if you ask me. She says he needs to be thanking her for all the times she done bailed him out, and he says thank you for effing up once again. I'm telling you, anytime Kanan and Raq are on screen, you already know the tension is going to be at an all-time high. Marvin tells Raq that Kanan should have been met the other end of a belt, and Jukebox says Kanan grown. Marvin responds asking what they should do about what Kanan just said, and Jukebox says listen. And that left Raq shocked as hell. She was not expecting Jukebox to react like that. Now, I see it from both sides. I can understand why Raq wants to stay low and figure out exactly what Unique is plotting, but I can understand Kanan and Jukebox's perspective too. Like, this guy is literally coming at our organization and our family, and we just go let him rock? No pun intended, but you get what I'm trying to say. And also, as we see later on in this episode, during this time, the product is very slow, which means money is going to be made even slower, which is another direct hit to the organization. We hear Hafiz in this episode talking about it's going to take him another month to receive more product for Raq and them to move. So for their sake, like Kanan said, this Unique problem need to be handled sooner rather than later. Speaking of the Unique, we got to see him and Pernessa reunite in this episode. It was real wholesome at first, but then Sin started to crash out as the episode progressed. It really showed you how much head trauma Unique took in this episode episode because he was actively wilding on Pernessa at any given moment. He explains to her why they have to stay up out the way, why she can't come back to New York because Raq tried to take him out. Pernessa just argues why she doesn't believe Raq would have been the one to do it, and he immediately starts snapping on her. Talking about, so you think you know more than me? You ever know how I feel to be dead before? I'm like, bro, relax. I understand you've been through some shit, but you here now, brother. You're up. I will say, though, it is good to see the effects of the beating finally start to affect Unique, because before this point, it kind of just seemed like he was moving around like shit was sweet. I think he's got to have a handicap to a degree, especially being that he's so much more up on Raq right now. And the literal CTE he experienced from getting beat by Ronnie, I feel like that's the thing that Raq is going to be able to use to her advantage when she gets back up. You got Lou in this episode not only declaring that he's ready to up the pole again with the reemergence of Unique, but also telling Imani that he's serious about their relationship. I don't know about y'all, but I just feel like there wasn't enough build up in this relationship for me to really care for her like that. I don't know, I felt more real vibes with the girl that he had in season 2. This Imani character, she's kind of just in and out of the season for me. It's really suspicious, but at the same time, I don't see her being an op. I don't know, this relationship is just one that I can't really get with right now. We're on the topic of Lou, we gotta go to B-Rilla, who pulled off one of the worst hits of all time. I mean, I say B-Rilla did the hit. The people he paid did the hit. See, a couple episodes back, we had Lavelle, B-Rilla, and Lou all in a room together. And Lavelle told B-Rilla and Lou that he be keeping a lot of money in his crib. Now, we already know B-Rilla is trying to make money to make ends meet for his family, but he has not got music out on the street, which is why he blew up on Lou in the last episode. So in the last episode, he also planned a hit out on Lavelle to get the money that he was looking for to support his family. But the hit wasn't really supposed to be a hit. It was supposed to be a robbery, but the people that he paid to do the robbery thought it was supposed to be a hit. So all we see is B-Rilla on the outside of this lavish looking mansion, hearing gunshots go off, and all he could do is just watch and see his music career go down the drain. This whole time he thinking Lavelle and his family got shot up, but whole time this man Lavelle rented out this crib to a whole other family, meaning they got deaded as opposed to Lavelle and his family. So on one hand, B-Rilla probably like, yo, thank God Lavelle's alive. But on the other hand, he got to deal with the guilt of knowing that this family's death is on his hands. And I don't even think he got no money from this shit. That's tough. I seen would be really in the truck with the people that's about to perform the hit, reminding me of Gangstalicious from Boondock. We find out that bro is not all what he raps about. Bro was really about none of this action. I don't even think he brought a mask to pull off the robbery. He was gonna let them handle it for him. Looking forward to seeing how all this blows up in his face, because God don't like ugly. We see Marvin and Raq throughout this episode going to different parties to let them know that Unique is back on the block. Start off with Snaps and Pops letting them know that we need to work together to take out Unique because he's going to become a joint problem at some point. Boy Snaps pulls the Uncle Phil we before Pops tells her that we working with Kanan, not y'all. Marvin say Unique will be coming for Kanan too, to which Snaps responds, "Will consider us warned." They are not trying to work with her, and to be honest, I can't blame them. But the most shiesty part of this whole conversation is Snaps talking about this could be trouble, but it could also be an opportunity. Now, these are two characters that I feel like I've been keeping a very low profile throughout this season, and that interests me because they're right up here on the poster. What are they going to get into that's so serious? I can see them working with Unique by the end of the season, but who knows? They tell Raq that she needs to personally tell him, like she told them, that Unique is back out on the street to get ahead of things. And after Marvin puts the idea in her head that Stefano could easily switch up on them to Unique, who's the top dog right now, and take them out, they took the fastest route to get to Stefano. They get with Stefano and he breaks down the situation, telling them that it's likely the Jersey families that are supporting Unique right now because they want to go to war on the low key though. By low key, I mean he sit back and let Raq and Marvin do all the pistol toting in the street. They're not trying to be a part of that, but Stefano lets her know none of this probably would have happened if you just kept your relationship with Quan going. Now all them Chinese restaurants you have in your employ could probably go to Unique, who is actively taking your work right now. Obviously the threat of Unique is very high, so Stefano tells them to keep their pistols down. It doesn't say to not give their kids gats for protection, as we see Marvin do with Jukebox in this episode. That's the gun he was scolding her for using in the last episode, he's now giving her in this episode for protection against Unique. The switch up was quite literally instant, but that's what the occasion calls for. Now we see Juke moving with the utmost confidence in this episode, getting with Shorty she met a couple episodes back, getting wined and dined, and then not even taking Shorty's number down. She just upped out of the club. Really moving different. This is a Jukebox we know from the original Power forming in front of our eyes. Here we are again with too much to talk about and not enough time. We get another conversation with Marvin and Stefano in this episode, where Stefano's suggesting to Marvin that he should have Raq step back and he take over the organization for the time being. Obviously with all the recent plays Raq's been doing, they don't really give him the utmost confidence in her. You know, I'd argue Marvin's would make a worse decision. He's easier to control, I guess, so it is what it is. He tells him he's not going for it though, and that he best not ever bring that up to him ever again. So we'll see where the storyline goes. We got Kanan dealing with getting robbed by OC in this episode. He's got everyone on the block looking for his location. On her search, he sees his mother talking to the feds, which goes back to a conversation he had with Jukebox earlier on the episode. They said if feds took out Fame, that somebody in the streets put out the hit on him. In the episode out with the Thomas siblings reliving the glory days before Raq has a much needed conversation with her mother before fulfilling her request and taking her out.